Tense, particularly for companies or advertising.
Yeah. Now, how did you get into this?
I fell into it.
Yeah?
I'm originally a poet, and as a poet, you can never expect to make any money. But because I had that background, I ended up kind of meeting people, and they said, "Oh, you're a writer. Well, could you take a look at our script or something, you know, for or some other company?" And I said, "Sure, I'll take a look." And then they hired me to write it. You know, and so that just went on from there. I never advertised. I just kind of got phone calls from people that, you know.
Yeah, because you're so good. And no, really, because those things also take creativity. And if you are a poet with this in the background, then that creativeness, you know, the juices. I mean, has there ever been a time where you kind of sat for a long time and didn't know what to write, or what, you know, what inspired you to write certain things or come up with certain names of things?
Well, I'd have to say that sometimes inspiration is created rather than you can't just wait around for inspiration.
Yeah.
Especially if you've got a deadline.
That's
Deadlines
right.
help, but also just the desire to complete something. And people that say they like writing are all liars, because writing's difficult. It's in a sense, like giving birth. It's not nice until you finish.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. And then if they're calling you back for more, then you've obviously done a good job.
Well,
yeah.
One can only try.
And you've obviously done a good job. And this goes from copywriting, then going into writing children's books, and you do, you've done this, you know, Korean teaching English and the English education for a long time. So, and you also have, tried to improve yourself in Korean. Your Korean is actually, you know, lovely. We'll get to that in a moment. But do tell me, you know, if you can share with us, with our viewers, about maybe some tips of English and how can they actually improve their English, because you are one of these people who can write the books and create content, so ways that they can actually improve English.
Oh, well, the first thing to do is do a little bit every day. If you don't, you know, you can try to learn a little bit once a week, but if you do, instead of 2 hours once a week, if you do 15 minutes every day, you're actually going to improve and learn more. But also, learn with natural contents. Maybe watch some English programs like yours, or something on, listen to an English radio show, and then eventually it just kind of starts coming to you. I didn't learn any French before I went to France, but then after a couple of weeks bicycling around and listening to the French radio, I started hearing things. I'm, oh yeah, that must be this, you know, and it's a cumulative process.
I think you're naturally a very talented person in languages.
I'm good at faking it. Fake it until you make it, they say, right?
Well, no, I mean, there's so much to learn and so much to do and so much to teach. Do you say you're more of a student or are you more of a teacher?
The best way to be a student is through teaching.
I see.
Because in order to, I know this from back in high school when I had to learn calculus. So as I was learning it, I was helping my friend who had a much more difficult time with it. So I would learn much more and I'd get a much deeper understanding of it by teaching my friend. So the best way to learn is to teach. If you've got a younger brother or sister, just let them, you know, help them out with their homework, and you'll learn English much faster, I think.
Those are some good tips. You know, every once in a while you're throwing in the tips there, which is really beneficial for our viewers. You know?
That's what people are listening for.
Yeah, that's right. That's fabulous. Also, let's go back to your copywriting job. Now, that's definitely more in the business field and, you know, working, you know, with a huge conglomerate and things like this. Now, tell me some, you know, unique things that you had to do to, you know, what kind of things did you have to create?
Well, recently I worked with on their Galaxy series, writing advertising for that. Their initial slogan even was, what was it? I came up with embracing evolution, and they really liked that and used that in their campaign. Also, more recently, I've been working with the government in Gwangju and the Seoul government, and I'm writing a proposal for the Gwangju government to host the 2015 IDA World Congress, International Design Alliance. So that's really exciting. And
so what kind of things did you come up with that?
Well, I worked with a team, so I didn't come up with everything myself. So I worked with a professor over at Hongik University, and he's in charge of the project. And we kind of came up with this idea of Han and Han design strata. So it's kind of layers of different kinds of design and design capabilities and how they work together to create something bigger than the individual parts.
Right. So it's not, when you come up with slogans or things for advertising lines, this isn't just suddenly, eureka, oh, I got it, let me write it. It's really you. Sometimes you are working with a team and coming and pulling out things from the roots, huh?
Yeah. And so, you know, you meet other people and you throw out ideas, and everybody kind of gets fodder from that. And then you go home, and as a writer, you know, sometimes you need some quiet. Yeah. And then you think back about what those things entail and start creating from that. And that's kind of sometimes the fun part.
Yeah, that's
oftentimes
the
late night hard part, you know.
Yeah. So tell me something. Have you worked with some people that we might know, or in this life here in Korea, did you run into something because your English was your key element, that you've run into some people that's exciting in this writing field, or anything that you've done?
Well, I had the opportunity to work with the Seoul government again back in, I guess it was 2008 or so, 7 or 8, on the proposal for the 2010 WDC, Korea becoming the world design capital. And actually they won that.
What's the full title in Korean?
World Design Capital 2010 Seoul. And so they won that, so I got to write some speeches for the mayor when he went to San Francisco and accept the award and things like that. It was a lot of fun.
Wow. So you wrote the speeches in English?
In English, yeah.
For the mayor. Oh, that's great.
They would give me kind of an outline of what they needed in Korean, and then I'd create from there.
That's just my alley, actually. Yeah. I used to do a lot of speech writing, too.
Really?
Yeah. Then that takes a lot of creative juices, too. Although they have an outline for you, what you got to do and how you're going to put the examples, and that's where the creativity comes, right? Because it can't be just